Hi, Joe Kehrig with the Kehrig Real Estate Team, and this is your third quarter 2025 update and what we're expecting for the next quarter. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about inventory and how you should price a home based on the inventory that we have. Look at this first graph. Inventory topped 1 million. This is nationwide for the first time since 2019. If you remember, we talked about 2018 and 19 being the last normal years before COVID. Well, for the first time now, we've topped over 1 million homes on the market throughout the nation. I remember when we were like 300,000 at our very bottom. And when you look at this, all those colored lines are basically from 2020. The black lines above are from 2017, 18, and 19. And look at this next chart. You can see the white line is where we're at right now, where we are. They expect us by the end of the year to be right where we were in 2018 and 19, which again is a normal year. A lot of people are crying, boy, there's a lot more inventory. You know, the market has slowed down. Yeah, the market has slowed down. The pending sales are still happening. The reason that it seems like the market has slowed down because there's 3 times as many listings as there was, during 2021. So yeah, there's a lot of homes that aren't selling, and that's why we're going to talk about pricing a home. But by the end of this year, we're going to be right where we're at in 2018 and 19, which again, the market is normalizing. It's not going down or the inventory isn't going crazy. It just has normalized that 5-year cycle that we talked about. And one of the reasons that, when you see those things, you're sitting there going, boy, is there going to be another 2008 recession? No, because look at America's housing deficit when we look at this. 2017 is when things turned. You can see before then, we had a deficit of housing. I mean, we had an abundance of housing supply. The green is the deficit of homes because remember, after 2008, we went 14 years with building 400,000 to 500,000 homes less than we normally did during normal years. So we ended up building 6 to 7 million homes less than what we did before, and hence we're 3 to 4 million listings, homes for sale behind. But you can see that it's starting to turn the corner as more listings are coming on, as the market's normalizing a little bit. But how do you price your home for today's market? It's critical in today's market because I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I did a little short 60-second and I got thousands of views because how do you sell your home in today's market? Well, I will tell you, when we're meeting with a seller, we look at pendings and we look at actives. And when you look at pendings, and you'll see it again when we get into our San Ramon Valley update in a few minutes, that the pending sales are selling for 100% of asking, and they're all selling within a couple weeks. So if you're priced right, or you show nice, or you're in a good area, you're going to sell. And sometimes we're still getting multiple offers. But if you're priced too high or you don't show well, you're going to sit there for months and have to end up lowering the price many, many times and probably end up getting less than if you would have just priced it right in the beginning. So the most important thing is have your home show ready and come out of the gate priced aggressively, and you'll end up selling. 8 in 10 potential home sellers think they'll get their asking price or more. Sellers are so far behind the 8 ball that they need a lot of education from that standpoint. So you can see 35% think I'll get more than my asking price. 46% thinks they're going to get their asking price. So again, that's over 80%. And then just 13% think they'll get less than their asking price, and 5% they don't know. But yet, when you really look at it, there's only a small percentage getting their asking price. Most of everything else isn't selling, but the sellers don't realize it right now. They just remember back in 2020, 21, half of 2022, where everything was just selling for probably more. 1/3 of sellers had to reduce their asking price. So when you look at this, 36% of the sellers have had to reduce their asking price at least once. So again, people aren't getting their asking price. In a lot of cases, when I look at the updates every day, I'll see a few homes that sell for 100% of asking or get multiple offers, but then I'll see a lot of reductions in the price. So Redfin says sellers are pricing high based on comps from the past rather than current demand. So if they look a year ago, well, it's a different story than it is today. And sometimes they're thinking back 2 years. Well, the guy down the street got, 2 million. Well, at the time, maybe they're only going to get 1.7 or 1.8, but they just remember that $2 million sale. So they're pricing their high based on comps from the past rather than the current period. Today, list price growth is accelerating, while sales price growth is decelerating. Back in 2020, both were happening. Right now, listings are going up and sales are going down. Sellers want more than buyers are willing to pay. Look at this graph. Now, the median sales price and asking price, you can see they were going up and down pretty much the same. Now look at the delta. It's a huge delta now between the sales price and the asking price. And this shows you right there, sellers think they're going to get what they're asking. They're not. And that gap between asking price and selling price is getting wider. It's as wide as it's ever been for a long time. Days on market have risen since 2021. Inventory has risen since 2021. And so existing home sales are down, when you look at that. So again, the sellers have to be educated to what's going on. If you price your home right, it will sell. But there's enough inventory out there that if you don't come out of the gate strong, then you're going to have a tough time, probably end up getting less than if you would have priced it right. These graphs and these numbers don't lie. This is reality. And just like when I talk to someone and I'm showing them the pending sales that are all selling within a couple weeks for asking price or more, I'm saying this is reality. Over here, when they're priced high and they're not selling and they're sitting on the market for 60, 90 days, that's fantasy land. This is reality. This is fantasy land. So a lot of sellers are living in fantasy land. But that's why it takes someone who knows the market to sit down and know. I never tell anybody. All you have to do is look at these and just show them. So what's going on in our market? Well, our market's still staying fairly strong. Now you can see that actives have actually gone down a little bit in San Ramon, but so has pendings. But again, listings are still almost 3 times as much as a pendings. And remember, at one point, 2021, there were more pendings than there was listings. And when you have half as many pendings as listings, you have still a seller's market. Well, now you'll see it's more of a normalized type market. Danville listings are up, pendings are down. That's what we're kind of seeing overall, and that's what we've been seeing. And you can see how many more active properties than there are pendings. Alamo, same thing, actives are up, but so are pendings a little bit too. So the market's still strong, things are still selling. But you know what? This is the time that you have to come out going into the summer. A lot of buyers are sitting there saying, hey, I'm going to wait till the market goes down. Well, yeah, but you have to remember the best homes are selling. I'm telling my buyers that chances are we're going to spend full price to purchase a home. Why? Because we want what everyone else wants. We don't want the ones that need a lot of work that are priced too high. So the nicest listings are selling. So chances are we're going to have to pay asking or maybe even more than get the one that we really want. If you wait till after the summer, you know what you get? You get the sales rack. You get the stuff that no one else wanted. And so it's not really to be a buyer necessarily to wait to try to get a better deal. You might get a little bit lower price, but it's going to be something you really don't want. If you want it, then everyone else should want it too, and you're going to have to pay asking price. So look at the Dublin market. Actives and pendings are up. So again, the market is still moving. It's just the fact that buyers are with the higher interest rates are going towards the best values out there. You can see this. Everything's been averaging around 100%. Same type of thing. Danville and Dublin are over 100%. San Ramon, Alamo, 98%. You can see that before everything was over 100%. It's dipping down a little bit, but again, that's because of everything is all about the supply and demand. There's more supply. The demand is still there, but there's just more supply. So it's a very fickle market out there, and you don't want to navigate through this market alone. And as you can see, seller's reality is not the market reality. The market, I don't dictate the price. A seller doesn't dictate the price. The market dictates the price. So you need an expert in your corner. If you're even thinking about it or you want to get an idea, reach out to the Kehrig team. Give me a call, Joe Kehrig, 925-487-6833. 888-838-3838, or drop me an email at joe@kehrigteam.com. Or if you want to learn more about the Kehrig team, visit our website, www.kehrigteam.com. Have a great day. This is a very fluid market. You're going to see it really movement, so make sure you tune in next week.